Right, video 2, here we go. We've now got the splitting up of the nervous system into its parts, as in how they're functioning and physically as well as function-wise. This is a split into both the relation of both anatomy and physiology now. So if we were to start splitting the nervous system out physically, we have got the central nervous system, which is brain, brainstem, and spinal cord. So that is what's contained within your skull, within your cranium, and within the vertebral column. So the central nervous system. On the other side, we have got the peripheral. For me, the M25 equivalent of Paris, the La Périphérique, comes to mind, the outside rows, the outside systems, all nerves leaving the spinal cord to motor neurons to coordinate what muscles and what endocrine glands do, the outwards information, as well as the sensory information going inwards into the central nervous system. That is all outside, so the peripheral nerves going in and out. So what would you have? You would have in the peripheral, you would have sensory and motor neurons. In the central nervous system, you would have what's coming in, what's going out. The cell bodies of motor neurons would be in there, as well as all relay coordinator neurons would be in the central nervous system. Right, so the outside nervous system can be, the peripheral nervous system can be split up into two major branches. The consciously controlled somatic nervous system, literally that is the connection to your skeletal muscles where you are aware of what you're doing. And so that's a somatic, the consciously aware of it, which is where the motor cortex would be connected to the somatic nervous system in that sense. However, you've also got the autonomic nervous system, where the control of all your digestive system muscles, all your longitudinal and circular muscles around your intestinal tract, your heart muscles, your smooth muscle, all your glands, all your unconscious nervous system control, that's in the autonomic nervous system. Now, this unconscious side, this autonomic side, can be looked at, split up even more. The sympathetic nervous system, that is your a lion is chasing you, you've got a spider above your head, you've got this sort of adrenaline rush. Think of it as that. The sympathetic nervous system, which is your stressed part of your nervous system, so anything that would accelerate your heart rate, your breathing rate, that's going into the sympathetic nervous system. So the nerve pathways there. We're going to look at all that in detail anyway. And the parasympathetic nervous system, which is one that you can trigger with deep breathing, meditation, sleep. That's your rest, repair, digest part of the nervous system when you do not have the stressors around. Right, so in steps, you've got the autonomic, which is that unconscious, the keeps your organs functioning, swallowing, coughing, sneezing. They're reflexes that we don't need to learn. They're just there to, you do not need to learn how to throw up. That's there. You've got the control of antagonistic muscle pairs. For example, if you go back to your unit on the ventilation, that your external intercostal muscles and your internal intercostal muscles know that one contracts while the other one relaxes. That is there. Also insulin, glucagon, the balance between hormones, that is all unconscious. Now, the two branches that I've explained earlier, you've got an excitatory, the sympathetic pathway, that is your stress pathway. The parasympathetic is your relax and sleep and meditate pathway. In the sympathetic pathway, you have got neurotransmitters, as you from the nervous system unit should know by now, that they are excitatory. Some neurotransmitters will cause a stimulation in the next neuron. That's an excitatory neurotransmitter, noradrenaline. It increases the heart rate, increases blood pressure, increases your breathing rate. There are also some organs, some other side effects of that sympathetic nervous system, not in your syllabus, but it closes down, it does vasoconstrictions towards your digestive system, for example. In a state of stress, you do not need blood supply, maximum blood supply to your digestive system, which explains why stressed people sometimes have digestive issues. In part, obviously, there are other reasons, there are bacterial reasons and so on, but there's a sympathetic control of the digestive system as well as in shutting down extreme blood supply to the bits of your body that you do not need. Okay, so that's for sympathetic. The parasympathetic has got as the neurotransmitter acetylcholine, which is inhibitory. The whole pathway is inhibitory. It's slowing things down, decreases your heart rate, decreases your blood pressure, slows down your breathing. And again, the cell bodies, it's kind of aware of the cell bodies of those neurons placed. In the sympathetic, the cell bodies are in the grey matter of the spinal cord. The spinal cord is inside out to what your brain was. In the brain, you've got the grey matter on the outside, white matter on the inside. In the spinal cord, your grey matter's on the inside, white matter's on the outside. Just think of where the myelination needs to be, where that insulation of neuron needs to be. So you've got a speeding up of the signal going outwards. And yeah, just literally for the parasympathetic, your cell bodies are also in the brain, not only in the spinal cord, and some go into the target organs as well. Your heart rate is controlled in a nervous way as well as in a hormonal way. This here is the nervous pathway, the neuronal pathway on how your heart rate can be controlled. Right. This is going together with what you've learned in the unit on transport, on how actually the heart itself is controlled. The thing with the SA node, the AV node, bundle of His, Purkinje fibers, that thing. Okay, so if your carbon dioxide levels rise, as you might do more respiration, you might be running, your cells in your carotid sinus, in your carotid artery, which leads from the heart upwards towards your jugulars and then to the brain, that detects the change in blood acidity, excess carbonic acid, because there's more carbon dioxide in there. That information is passed to the respiratory centers of the brain to then adjust your breathing, so it's your heartbeat rate. So as you've got the cardiac accelerator center stimulated because of that extra acidity, the nerve impulses traveling to the sinoatrial node includes noradrenaline. That was your excitatory neurotransmitter. It binds to the SA node, and that set pace by the myogenic cells that is supposed to be 70 beats per minute, that gets increased. So from the sinoatrial node, from there, obviously you've got the usual pathway from there, SA node exciting the atria, then AV node, then they're slowing down through the bundle of His and the Purkinje fibers. So that is a change of the set heart rate. There's a nice PowerPoint that I found on the slide player if you want to go on that link on the PowerPoint itself. I don't think YouTube allows you to do that as I've recorded this. The opposite pathway happens when you've got the cardio-inhibitory center stimulated in the brain. So that would be if you've got a lowered carbon dioxide levels and obviously other bits as well. So that is still autonomic nervous system. Now, this case, you have got your parasympathetic pathway involved. The cardio-inhibitory center is stimulated. A different neurotransmitter, acetylcholine, is released. Again, binds to the SA node on the heart, lowers the frequency of those electric discharges, and your pace, your heart race, your heartbeat frequency, your pulse is being slowed down at this point. So for you to, again, this is a lot of just memorizing and lots of finding memory aids with your noradrenaline as being your excitatory and your acetylcholine as your inhibitory neurotransmitters. There is a lot going on in terms of pharmaceuticals on how you can speed up and lower somebody's heart rate. Beta blockers, this might be something you might want to research in your own time if you haven't got anything else to do. So just food for thought here. I'm going to pause here to do the different areas of the brain in a second.